back to my channel. Today we are going to get into my review and a tutorial using the new Tom Ford palette. This is called the First Frost. And of course, when I seen this pop up on the Sephora website, I had to pick it up. So they also launched a lippy with this. It is called the Soleil Lip Balm, and it is called Balm Frost. It retails for $56. When I bought this palette, I passed on that lipstick. I was like, I don't really need it. I'm wearing a mask all the time. It's $56. I don't need it, right? So that was a really good decision. That was a couple of days ago. Today, somehow, you guys, I don't know how it happened. I can't explain myself. Somehow it managed to go into my Sephora cart that I had already built up for the Friends and Family 20% coupon, and somehow I bought it. I don't know how that happened. I think it just accidentally popped into my cart, and I went against everything that I've been saying, and I bought it. What can I say? So obviously, I'm not going to wait for it to arrive in order to do this together, but when I do get it, I will somehow, somewhere, pop it into a video and let you guys know my thoughts on it. But you guys, the packaging and the frosty and the I was drawn to it. I don't know why, but whatever it is. So let's get back to this palette. This palette is a limited edition. It's of 4 coordinated eyeshadows and sparkly finishes that is designed to create soft to bold, iconic Tom Ford eyes. This is the wet dry formula, and I was excited about that. Now, I don't have a lot of Tom Ford in my collection. I'm slowly building my Tom Ford collection. Slowly, because they're $88. Because I don't have a lot of Tom Ford in my collection, I asked my friend Mel. She just recently uploaded her review of this. You guys need to check out that video. Her look, like, literally made my mouth drop. It was so gorgeous. She is beautiful anyway, but my gosh. So I will leave a link to her video in the description box down below, and I did get her permission to share her swatches of this palette next to several other quads that look similar to this, in case you guys have other Tom Ford palettes in your collection that I don't have. Now, the reason why I decided to do that is because when the images of this palette were released, I had a couple people reach out to me and say, wait, that looks like the DeHiver palette. Is that how you pronounce it? DeHiver? DeHiver? I don't know. Anyway, this palette right here. I had a lot of people say, that looks exactly like that palette. I have that palette. What's the difference? And truthfully, in the images, it did look almost exactly the same. So I will be sharing her swatches later on in the video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the eye look that I created using this palette. Then we will go ahead and get into the swatches, my swatches, and also my sweet friend Mel Thompson swatches. And I will see you guys all in my final thoughts. Okay, so let's jump into this new palette from Tom Ford. It's really, really pretty. It's so pretty. I've already dunked my finger into them. I mean, why would I not? It's super pretty. So I'm gonna grab this first shade right here, place this like right up here on the, oh, that shade is super pretty. It's like a perfect brow bone highlight. Perfect. I always like to put the brow bone highlight down and then rub my finger across it. I think when you rub your finger, it just like smooths it and it looks a little bit more realistic versus like a patch of eyeshadow. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the dark color first. So I'm gonna grab this dark shade right here. Now I don't have any concealer on because I didn't know if I was gonna get a lot of fallout with this. So the only thing I have on is just my foundation and brows. That's it. Let's go ahead and stick this right here on the outer corner and kind of build this shade up. Great pigmentation. I mean, it's good. Now I'm going to go into the lighter brown, this one right here, and I'm going to go over top of it and kind of bring it into the crease. After seeing the look that Mel was wearing in the thumbnail today of her video, I haven't watched her video, but I saw her thumbnail when she was wearing this eyeshadow, and oh, I mean, she's pretty anyway, let's get real, but dang, it looked so beautiful on her. Okay, so that formula is blending like a dream. Now I'm gonna go into like the rose gold color. It's so pretty. I'm so excited about that shade. I'm gonna bring that into the crease and just kind of bring some of that pink into the crease. Now I'm gonna go into that rose gold shade and I'm gonna put that all over my lid. Because it's that wet dry formula, I think a finger is the best way to apply this shade. Whew. It's so pretty. Let's put it on the brush and wet it. That's my favorite part. So I've got it loaded here on the brush. I'm gonna spritz it lightly. Oh, yes. It applies even better with a spritz. I got a little bit of fallout, but not a lot. Not a lot. I think some of it might have just been from the pink, but I didn't get any fallout from the dark shades, so that's good. So I'm gonna grab this shade. I just threw on some concealer and I'm just gonna lightly kind of deepen up this outer corner just to kind of add some of that shimmer. Let's work on the lower lash line. I'm gonna grab this shade right here and kind of see, when I'm not paying attention to the monitor, my mirror or my camera will focus on my mirror and not my eyeball. Now I'm going to grab the flat definer brush and I'm going to go into this dark shade. I want to add some dimension here on the lower right here. So I like packed it. I am going to take that shade and bring it on the upper waterline, but I'm going to spray it. So I'm going to load my brush with it, kind of just creating a liner with it. I'm going to place this right along the lash line. And then kind of do this flicking motion where I'm kind of pulling it up with the brush. Okay, now I'm going to go into that like really pretty white shade and I'm going to use that to pop right here on the inner corner. I think I'm going to bring a little bit of that into that pink as well and just really pop that inner corner wide open. Oh, that shade is giving me life. Gosh, it's pretty. Okay, so I went ahead and threw on the rest of my makeup, finished everything, and all I did was put on mascara. These are my real lashes. I know I said this in my last video, but I wanted to repeat it in case you guys didn't see that video. This side, I ripped out a chunk of eyelashes right here with an eyelash curler. So I have to grow them back out. So I'm just using a few individuals to kind of fill in the gaps on those days where I don't want to wear like an actual lash band. So that's the situation. I felt like this eyeshadow look was just very kind of soft and beautiful, and I didn't feel like I wanted to wear like false lashes, except for the individuals to fix my boo-boo, but whatever. Now, as far as the lippy goes, I lined my lips with the Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude, and then I pulled out one of my favorites, which I have a backup because I'm almost out of this. This is, I don't know if this is still available. I think they did a restock recently, but this is from Christian Audette and their collaboration with my friend Mel that I love, Mel Thompson. This is in the shade Beauty. This shade is such a perfect soft nude, and I knew it would go really beautiful with this eyeshadow look. So that's what I have on. This is the final look, and let's go ahead and jump into the swatches and comparisons, and then I will jump into my final thoughts. Okay, so now that we've made it through all of the swatches let's get into my final thoughts. So I have some swatches here that I didn't put in the swatches and comparisons because I wanted to discuss them while they're on the screen. So as you know by the thumbnail, I mentioned that if you have a certain palette, you don't need this First Frost from Tom Ford. And this is why. This is the palette. The Natasha Denona Glam Palette. So the reason why I say this is because when I was working with this palette and creating this look, I was like, gosh, this looks so similar to the looks that I create with the Glam Palette from Natasha Denona. That is one of my favorite color stories in this Glam Palette, is this whole like pink, silvery, grayish tones, right? So to my surprise, up here on the screen is the image that I took of the First Frost palette next to the Glam palette. You guys, the shades are almost identical. The finishes are a little bit different in a few of the shades. The pink shade in the Tom Ford shade is a little bit richer in pink, but once you put them on the eye, you guys, they're not going to be that much different. I also took a picture with a flash so you guys could see the shimmer of each of these shades next to the Glam palette. And you can really see that they are very, very similar. Now, are they exactly the same? Not fully exact, but they're close. It's been my experience that when you have shades that are that similar, when you're swatching them, when you put them on the eye, you will not know a difference. So I can tell you from experience, if you have the Natasha Denona Glam Palette, you definitely do not need this one from Tom Ford. Okay, so let's just say that you don't have the Natasha Denona Glam Palette and you love the color story from Tom Ford. I would tell you to buy the Glam Palette because you get obviously a lot more shades for your money. Yes, the Tom Ford wet to dry formula is really great, but Natasha Denona quality is really great as well. So I feel like they're kind of comparable in that sense. Yes, the Tom Ford finish just blends and kind of melts into the skin. Taking out the Natasha Denona palette being very similar, you know, taking out that, this is a really beautiful palette. It is. I love this color story. So of course I'm going to love it. And I love the quality of it. I think it's got a great quality to it because it is that wet to dry formula. It blends beautifully. It applies beautifully. And the only fallout that I got was from the pink shade. And I think when I applied it on my with my finger, some of it fell off my finger and fell down here. So it necessarily wasn't that when I was blending, I got fallout. So I do appreciate the formula because it is that wet to dry, very easy to work with. That's kind of why his palettes are so popular, because they are just very, very easy to work with and they're just absolutely stunning. So with all of that said, this is a beautiful palette, but if you have the Glam palette, don't waste your $88 on this palette. It's just way too expensive for being so similar. So that's it for my review on this palette. Sound off down below. Did you guys get this palette? Are you loving it? Are you not liking it? Let us know. You guys know I love hearing from you guys. I say that in every video, but I do love hearing from you guys. We have such a great community here and I am just beyond grateful. I love you guys all so much. So thank you guys so much for spending your time with me today. I know that I've had 2 videos back to back, but I know that the Sephora like 20% off friends and family code just happened. So I wanted to get these reviews up immediately in case these were on your list to pick up for that 20% coupon. So I hope that that was helpful. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I love you guys so much and I will see you all in my next video. Love you. Bye.